Hi, I'm Shakira from Careers Portal, and today we have Yasha here from SHAWCO.
Hi everyone, I'm Yasha. I'm a student at UCT. I'm studying psychology and organizational psychology. So I'm very passionate about mental health. That's actually why I joined SHAWCO after I heard about all these mental health initiatives that they were going to start. So I'm really excited to be here.
So what will you be discussing today?
So today we're just going to discuss the concept of stress, and we're going to look at it with regards to this exam period. Specifically, we're wanting to look at how stressful waiting for our exam results can be, and we want to look at a few coping mechanisms to get through the stressful time.
Oh, please tell me more.
So, exams, after writing your exams, your stress doesn't just disappear. There's many things that people worry about whilst waiting for the exam results and the meaning behind the exam results. That mark that you get, whether you pass or you fail, influences so many different factors in your life. And I've got a whole list of examples here, so I'll just chat through a few of them. But I think we can all relate, the idea of failing a course is very stressful and can be really intimidating. But for some of us, that could mean, okay, well, I'll just have to redo the course. But for other people, there's questions of, would I be able to afford to redo a course? Will I be able to get funding? How does that affect my progress in my degree? That's a really stressful idea. And when you think about that while waiting for your exam results, it can be really stressful. Some other examples, if we look at our matrics and grade 11 students who are applying for, to get into university or different colleges, that whole period, exam period is so stressful because it's so uncertain. Are you going to end up in the university you want to go to? Are you going to end up in the university that you can afford? Are your marks competitive enough to get you into the degree that you want?
So what tips would you recommend to reduce stress in these situations?
Yeah, so you can do many things. So I've actually got 5 tips that I'd like to suggest, and I ran them by someone who's far more experienced in this field, so I'm happy to share them with you. But basically the first one I'd like to talk about is focusing on what is within your control. Many of the things that I've mentioned are very out of your control, and you might feel very helpless, and what can you actually do about it? So focusing on what you can do, just to make a note here, when we feel like we have more control over our situations, we feel less stress. So you really want to maximize what you can control and take charge of the things that you can control. So think about, what can you do to make this waiting period easier for yourself? For example, how can you reduce your stress levels so that they're manageable and healthy for you, and focusing on that as opposed to focusing on trying to change the unchangeable or control the uncontrollable and exhausting yourself. So that's the one thing. But also I just want to mention, we all have different realities, and I think especially in South Africa, where there's so much inequality and disparity between individuals and their circumstances and their access to resources, we really just need to be mindful, that we aren't minimizing the fact that people are going through these challenges. What we're really trying to do is empower them, and to show them that there are things that they can control and take charge of to help them through this difficult time. And then the second tip is mindfulness. So mindfulness is basically just the practice of staying in the present, staying in the here now. When we get anxious and we worry, that usually indicates to us that we're living in the future. And so to kind of reduce that, we want to try and train our brains to stay here, what's happening around us now. So when you find yourself drifting into that anxiety and thinking, oh no, what's going to happen with my exam results? It's going to be bad. Gently bring yourself back to the present, and try and focus on things around you. So there's a few things you can do. So there's meditation, which is quite a common practice of mindfulness, but you don't have to do meditation to be mindful. I know some people can find that a bit boring. So one of the things that I like is listening to music. So just really focusing on maybe your favorite song, maybe it transports you to an imaginary world, or listening to the words that are being sung or the different harmonies and things like that. And I think people do that without realizing it. And I think that's why that's actually quite a common coping mechanism. So yeah, you can do that. Another one is breathing. So specifically belly breathing. So when we get stressed, we actually start to breathe in our shoulders. But if you breathe into your belly, you actually calm yourself down and you ground yourself. So I just want to demonstrate it with you. So we'll just breathe in for 4 counts, hold it for a little bit, and then breathe out for 4 counts. So breathe in, hold it for a little bit, and breathe out. How did that feel?
That felt good.
Yeah, and so it might not work immediately, but you can do it a few times, and it should kind of bring you back and ground you, and you should feel a bit calmer. And you can focus on how the air feels on your nostrils, or counting the breaths. That can be really helpful to keep you in the here and now. So that's that one. Then another one that might be a bit more common practice is journaling, or writing down your thoughts and your feelings. So in this case, you can write down what it is about receiving your exam results that are really stressful, but also go beyond that and try to reflect back on your past achievements through this year. I think we really focus, we forget to remember, our little and big achievements. And I think it's really important that we do give ourselves that credit. So make that time and try to find things that you can be proud of. And then the fourth one, the fourth tip, one of my favorites is actually, it's called worry time. So you can actually, as you would schedule in study time or time with friends, you can schedule in 30 minutes to 1 hour time in your day, where you use that time to think about and process the things that are bothering you. And the beauty about this is that you recognize that your worries are important to you. I mean, you wouldn't be worrying about these things if they weren't important, and that they shouldn't be completely dismissed, and that you should attend to them, but attend to them in a controlled manner, in a healthy way. So let yourself go to this kind of worst case scenario, what happens if my worst fear comes true? And think about how you can solve this problem. What options are available to you? What possible solutions are there? Come up with a contingency plan, or like a plan B. I find that helps me a lot to kind of know what I do if the worst case scenario happens. Helps me to feel more control of over my life. And as we said earlier, having more control makes us feel less stressed. So that's that one. And then our last one, but not least, is talk to someone. Talk to a friend, talk to a family member, talk to someone you trust, who you can just open up with and share your load with. It helps you so much, just feel lighter, to feel supported, and to feel less alone. You might really see that people can really relate to you and say that, I've experienced that too, or I'm going through the same stuff. And that can really help. And of course, there are psychologists and counselors that you can talk to, but it doesn't have to be a counselor or psychologist. You can really reach out to anyone in your social circle, like a local imam, a minister, anyone that you have access to and trust.
So what would someone do if they've tried these things, but they're too overwhelmed?
Yeah, so that's an important question. So sometimes people might use these techniques or strategies and they might not actually be effective, or might work a little bit but they feel like they need more, and that's a really good sign that you might need extra support. So other red flags that you can kind of look for is look at your physical health. So strong connection between our minds and bodies. So look at how well are you sleeping? Are you sleeping more or less than usual? Are you gaining more or less weight than usual? Are you feeling alone? Are you feeling helpless? Then I really encourage you to reach out and find support. There are a lot of organizations that provide free counseling. Your universities and colleges, they do have student wellness departments that have resources for you. So take a hold of them, use them. They're there for you and they're really valuable. And I just want to emphasize the social support, if you can just find at least one adult that you trust to confide in and to share your vulnerabilities with, really do that. And if you can't think of anyone on the spot, start trying to identify maybe different communities, different organizations or departments that you can approach for assistance. And yeah, just reach out and look after yourselves. You know, you're not alone. There are resources there to help you. There are people who want to help you, and there's no problem too big or too small for you to seek help. So just take care.
Well, thank you so much, Yasha, for coming to talk to us today. It was really helpful, and I'm sure our viewers can agree. Thank you so much for watching. We'll have SHAWCO's details in the link below and our website. And don't forget to please like and subscribe. See you next time.